welcome to ZI News, a weekly segment we do here on Zoid Industries where we talk about the latest news that has occurred during the week and anything dealing with gaming or channel updates. It's our top story tonight, which has been the biggest thing that has happened since last week's episode. It is the Clayton fire. Real brief update here. As of August 17th, in 2016, at 6 p.m., the fire has burned 3,929 acres. And is at 50% contained. Structures threatened has gone down to 380. Structures destroyed is at 175. As of 4 p.m., and the following areas are open. Areas accessed from Spruce Grove Road, east of Highway 29, including all of Clayton Reef Road. As of 3 p.m., neighborhoods east of State Highway 53 from Polk Avenue south to Cache Creek. This includes the area referred to as the Avenues. These evacuations areas within the fire perimeter served by Morgan Valley Road. Evacuation centers have not changed. I'll link you to the emergency broadcast where we've talked about those. Roads closed are Main Street east of Highway 29 and 53 Junction, Lake Street South Dam Road. The cause is still under investigation. We've got a total of 2,372 fire personnel on this. Total fire engines is 201. Total fire crew is 61. And the fire's containment has risen so well they've withdrawn the air tankers. Yet have a total of 7 helicopters still on staff and 23 dozers working it alongside 26 water trucks. The conditions are today firefighters continue to mop up and secure more of the fire's perimeter. Damage inspection teams continue to survey the fire area to determine how many structures have been damaged or destroyed. Current data indicates that the fire has destroyed 168 structures, including 175 single-family homes, 8 commercial structures, and 85 other structures such as sheds and smaller outbuildings. As surveys are completed and additional data is confirmed, the number of structures damaged or destroyed may rise. The evacuation order for the area accessed by Spruce Grove Road was lifted today at 4 p.m. Another big development with this fire is that they caught the guy they believe started it. And his name is Damien Pascal, age 40. In addition to this, he is charged with starting 17 other fires and was a member of the prison fire team and us knew what he was doing. On to the next story. Players have also of the now popular PC and PS4 board game No Man's Sky have pointed out some obvious glaring issues. Is in the week since it hit PC gaming shelves. Most notable of which is plainly demonstrated by ZI News gaming consultant and Captain Shack of the XP Gamers, where his high-end rig it would do that while he's playing the game. According to reports, the developers are currently working on it, and so hopefully they'll have the issues fixed sometime soon. A weekly roundup of technological developments in the past 7 days as of August 12th is that MacBook Pro is receiving an update. Okay, here we go with the full article. Number one item on the article is get ready for the biggest MacBook Pro update yet. According to reports, Apple is planning to unveil new 13-inch and 15-inch MacBook Pro laptops with Retina displays soon. Apple is building a completely new Pro laptop with many new features such as Touch ID sensor and a OLED mini screen above the keyboard. And the person writing the article I'm reading from, which I'm not sure I'll be able to link you to, wrote, "Can we skip to September now, please?" Yeah, that's hilarious. This second item in this list is Walmart took its biggest step in its bid to compete against Amazon in the e-commerce world as it acquired Jet.com for $3 billion in cash. As Jet will continue to exist as a separate brand as part of Walmart's strategy to widen the types of consumers that it targets. This is Walmart being more committed to winning in e-commerce, said Doug McMillon, President and CEO of Walmart. Alright. What can I say? They're greedy. But I get a lot of my stuff from Walmart anyway. If they carried it, the computer that is behind you guys is right now would come from Walmart. Facebook is continuing ad blocking. They tiptoed around ad blockers with a new change to its HTML that disguised its web ads as organic content. With this update, Facebook will allow you to opt out of certain ad targeting categories or set preferences to block ads from particular businesses. But 2 days later, AdBlock Plus community found a way to block them again. And Facebook then claimed it would update its code to nullify the workaround and so on. One thing I gotta point out with this article is someone misspelled then. They spelled it THEM. I thought you guys would get a kick out of that. Amazon launched Prime Air, its own dedicated cargo plane to speed up delivery. The plane is a Boeing 767 and 300 operated by Atlas Air. Meet the Amazon One. Private Dialects, Unicorn, Volunteer, I'm not even, AccuHired, I think, Silk, a cloud data visualization company founded in 2010. Silk helps data journalists, activists, NGOs, and businesses produce data visualizations in the cloud without the need for complex software and programming knowledge. Yet, where would all that stuff go? Well, anyone who's used the cloud knows what I'm talking about. You put stuff there, and it disappears. I've not personally used the cloud, but I've heard of it happening, and I will probably not end up using the cloud in any point of the future. Number 6 item on the tech list is tech companies hold a ton of our most personal information, and they must earn our trust in keeping our data secure. Most tech companies have created bug bounty programs reimbursing hackers in cash. Now, finally, Apple has announced its long-awaited bug bounty program, and the rewards are high. Seems like they're not really trying to fix hacker problems there. I mean, it sounds like the hacker's like, oh, I'm gonna hack into this and try to steal all this data. Oh, look, I get a bunch of money. I'm gonna do it again. Can see some obvious problems there. And number 7, Google Orbitera, a cloud marketplace platform just north of $100 million. It wasn't clear before. It is now. If it wasn't clear before, it is now. Google is ramping up to improve how it competes against Amazon's AWS, Salesforce, and Microsoft in cloud enterprise services. Again, everybody's trying to move to the cloud, and yet everything that goes to the cloud disappears. So, yeah. I'm just hoping that once I get where I can finish the monetization for the channel, not that I'm doing this to make money. Yeah, I'm doing this to try to entertain you guys. By the way, you like the hair? Tell me in the comments. And sister dyed it. She has her own channel, so I'll see if I can find them and link you to them. Okay, number 8, Airbnb plans to bring in late-stage capital, $850 million to be exact. This bumps the sharing economy company from the 5th to the 4th most valuable tech unicorn at a potential valuation of $30 billion. In SolarCity's investor call, Elon, it's spelled E-L-O-N, and his last name is spelled Musk. Musk revealed that the company is working on a solar roof, as in the entire roof is made of solar power cells. Sounds intriguing. And to me, I mean, if we weren't already told that it wouldn't save us any more money than what we currently save on our power bill, well, my family, who basically, they live in this house with me. I'm just in my room, which is the Zoid Industries studio. as I like to call it. But anyways, if we weren't already told switching to solar wouldn't save us any more money than we're already saving for power, this would be something we'd probably shoot for. But we've been told we can't save any more money on power than we already are. yeah, we're saving so much on power that we can't save any more. Number 10 item on this is more M&A ahead. Randstad Holdings and Iman-based human resources and recruitment company announced it will acquire job hunting portal Monster worldwide for $429 million in cash. Monster will keep its brand and will operate separately, but the idea here is to consolidate the recruitment and employment industry. The Deliveroo couriers held a protest over the way and they will potentially be paid just after the on-demand delivery startup announced it had raised another $275 million in funding. It was reported that after Deliveroo trialed what it described as a successful new payment model, the company would start paying drivers a fixed fee per deliverer of 3.75 pounds, I'm guessing. The symbol looks like the one I've seen for pounds. But I don't know. They're currently making an hourly rate of 7 of what I'm gonna call pounds per hour plus 1 pound per delivery. I know I have a few British people or UK people who watch my videos. As if the company sounds familiar and what I'm saying is correct, let me know. If I'm not correct, let me know that too. Yahoo made a play for cord cutters with the launch of a new TV watching site in partnership with Hulu. With Yahoo View, you'll be able to watch Hulu's free content, and the site will become one of the only ways to watch Hulu's free TV shows and movies, as it will be winding down its free version soon. Basically, if you're using the free version of Hulu like I've been on my old laptop for years before it died around this time last year, expect to not get those services anymore. Or instead you'll have to go through Yahoo, which is where my one of my email addresses runs through, and I'm not going to give out any of my email addresses except maybe the one for this channel, in case you want to email me fan art or something. Many have started using Instagram's news stories, a Snapchat feature clone that Instagram launched last week. In the past, Facebook's failed attempts to copy Snapchat didn't work because they tried to create an even better version of a popular product that already existed. This time around, Facebook-owned Instagram just may have the trajectory to wound Snapchat, because while Stories isn't better than Snapchat, it's good enough. And that's it for that. Another major breakthrough in medical technology is how some robot-like machines are helping people with spinal injuries regain function. I'll just read through the article. Researchers in Brazil who are trying to help people with spine injuries gain mobility have made a surprising discovery. Injured people doing brain training while interacting with robot-like machines were able to regain some sensation and movement. And the findings published in scientific reports, one of the Nature journals, suggest that damaged spinal tissue in some people with paraplegia, however the frack you pronounce that. You can tell I don't pronounce some of these words on a daily basis. Anyway, can be retrained to a certain extent. Somewhat the way certain people can regain some brain function following stroke through repetition and practice. In fact, this isn't a new idea for treating injuries of the spinal cord. Even people with severe injuries can regain some sensation and function through physical therapy if some nerve fibers remain. I will be honest, this story kind of hits a little close to home, because my dad, and he, in 2002, April, had an auto accident, and unknown to anybody at the time, he broke his back, and he's been, dealing with back pains for a while since. And then about the year we moved in here, because we were previously living in a rental hall. Well, that was like a street away from here. It was either when we moved in here or the year after. The way he tells the story, he was up on one of his ladders changing a light bulb outside. Oh wait, no. You're running a chainsaw. He was running a chainsaw. When the ladder, which wasn't exactly stable, when he set it up, basically fell with him on it. And he landed, and ladder landed on top of him. It's a wonder the chainsaw didn't land on top of him and cause any injury. Grace of God there. But ladder landed on top of him. He shouted for Mom for a couple minutes or so. Then he just picked the ladder up, shut off the chainsaw, walked in, told Mom what happened, and Mom asked, and he was in such pain he was willing to go to the hospital, so Mom asked him if he wanted her to drive him or to call an ambulance. He opted for the ambulance, which is how we know it was bad pain, because my dad's a tough guy. Even when he had the auto accident in 2002, and when we moved in here around 2004 or 2005, around that time, and he's always been a tough guy. He's basically grown up with 7 brothers and sisters. Oh yeah, had to be tough there. Uh, Anyways, he went to the hospital. They had to transfer him to Sacramento. And turns out he had broke his back again. And doctors looking there like, you broke your back before. Or, so, while he was in Sacramento, they had him on his back for a while. Well, they were amazed he was able to walk, considering how his spine broke at the time. And according to the way the story's told, here's how his spine was supposed to be. Is supposed to be aligned. You know how it's supposed to be in there, when you haven't broken your back or anything. Okay. Okay. Here's how it broke. Yeah, it's a wonder he could walk. Anyways, bit of a furthering of that story. While he was on his back if memory serves right, it was from Thursday to Saturday. And my dad is very active. He likes to keep active. And having him on his back that long, a blood clot formed in his leg. And they put a brace on him. We called it the turtle shell, because that's what the thing looked like. Anyways, there was a blood clot in his leg. And they got him up, walked him around a bit. He thought he was hyperventilating, but what happened was that blood clot broke loose and traveled up and he had a minor heart attack. That's what they called it. Needless to say it worried the doctors a bit. At the time, my grandma on mom's side, and aunt who's married to mom's brother, were up here to kind of help with the situation. And we were going to get dinner from one of the fast food places there in Sacramento. I think it was Burger King, McDonald's, one of them. It could have been CJ's or Carl's Jr., or in case you don't know what that little shortening is. And we were getting dinner, and my little brother, who's 3 years younger than me, asked them what a blood clot was. Now, I'm one of those guys who, when I'm watching live television, sits there through the commercials and watches them. And at the time, a lot of those blood thinner commercials were running, talking about blood clots. And so my grandma and aunt were struggling to find a way to explain it to Nathaniel. Well, and I just I piped up what a blood clot is, which for those of you who don't know is where the blood in your system gets so congealed and thickened and sticky that it starts sticking in your veins and arteries and stuff up until it's formed like a big old ball. And if this ball breaks loose, it can be very dangerous. So, I explained it so well then that my brother, or when Mom tried to calm him down later, saying, hey, Dad's gonna be just fine and whatnot, uh, he said, Mom, Dad almost died. Not funny, but kind of comical that my brother basically said that. Anyway, back to the story we're covering in this section. And yeah, Dad's not paralyzed, so don't worry about that. The 8 paralyzed people in the Brazilian study didn't regain enough mobility to support their own weight on their legs, but Dr. Miguel Nicolas is a neuroscientist and physician with Duke University who led the research, says his experimental subjects did make partial recovery improvements that significantly helped their quality of life. They had better control of their bowel and bladder functions, he says. Some men were able to have erections, and one woman decided to deliver a baby vaginally. She could feel the baby for the first time, he says. She could feel the contractions. These category details I don't really think anybody needed to know, but oh, come on, you laggy piece of junk. Okay. There's a video. I'll see if I can find it, link it. The study of the first 12 months of training didn't document the most dramatic quality of life improvements that Nicholas announced in a telephone briefing with reporters. But did describe some of the improvements in sensation and movement. Nicholas previously garnered worldwide publicity for his work by arranging one of his patients to kick out a ceremonial soccer ball while during the World Cup tournament in Rio de Janeiro in 2014. The build-up for that moment was more dramatic than the actual event. But it did highlight Nicholas's ambitious efforts to help people with paralysis improve their mobility through robotics. Though an international scientific collaboration known as the Walk Again Project. Other research groups are pursuing similar strategies, and there are several products on the market that help people with spinal injuries to walk. In his work, Nicholas and his team trained people with paraplegia to visualize moving their muscles by having them wear virtual reality goggles and giving them tactile feedback on their arms. The idea was to create brain signals that could be picked up by electrodes and used to control the bulky robotic apparatus. Nicholas was surprised to see that as people improved their ability to visualize limb movements, they were also regaining some feeling and movement as well. His patients had been paralyzed for 3 to 13 years. It was for the first time in many years they were able to voluntarily control their muscles. They could move their legs or contract muscles under voluntary control. Some people had their level of paralysis upgraded to a less severe rating of incomplete paraplegia. Yeah, I might be mispronouncing that. Again, I'll do my best to link you to these articles below. This has not been seen before, he says. I call this an important milestone. But Adele Field, Vogt, director of spinal cord injury research at Shepherd Center at Emory University, wasn't so. I'm not even gonna try. RHAPSODIC. I would not say this. It's unprecedented, she tells Shots. I'd say the intervention used in Brazil is unprecedented. Nicholas's therapy involves not just the virtual reality training, it includes physical therapy and extensive stimulation as the robotic machines move their muscles. If you gave anybody with some remaining spinal cord 12 months of therapy, you'd see improvement. And Field Vogt says, even years after an injury. She notes that at the outset of the study, all the participants had some ability to walk, with assistance from crutches, walkers, braces, and in some cases, human attendants. If you exercise with the body weight support and treadmill training, you also get improvements, said Monica Perez, a scientist at the Miami Project to Cure Paralysis who studies mechanisms involved in the control of human movement. The question is whether this is superior to previous approaches and which are the mechanisms. And Sarah says this was a long period of training, so it's hard to compare. The findings from Brazil raise the possibility that more prolonged efforts to restore some movement in paralyzed people could pay off. Overall, the study is plausible and interesting. This is Dr. Lynn Jakeman, a neuroscientist who oversees extramural research on spinal cord injury for the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke. But she also notes that the participants had so many different interventions, it's not entirely clear whether the visualization, exercises, or some other combination of factors was responsible for the reported effects. And the study had no control group for comparison. These independent experts couldn't evaluate the claims Nicholas made in his press call, but it didn't include in his published report. Nicholas tells reporters that 2 women in his study who had been paralyzed for more than a decade showed the most improvement. They can generate leg movements, move their legs out and in, and flex their knees. He says some of that is captured in a video he released with the published study. They are continuously improving, he says, beyond what he reports in his peer-reviewed paper. One woman now has enough mobility to get out and about, Nicholas said. Now she can sit, and she can basically drive. I honestly don't see why she would have had trouble sitting before, except for maybe, if she was using a walker, or going from the walker to the chair might have been difficult. Or wheelchair, from the wheelchair to a chair. Of course, most people I've seen with wheelchairs, like my late grandpa on mom's side, he was in a wheelchair from, I think, an auto accident. I was very little at the time, and I met him. But he was in a wheelchair, and he preferred to just sit in the wheelchair rather than move to like regular house chair. Yeah. And one thing I did learn while he was still alive was if I was in trouble with Grandma, stay out of his reach. See. And continue with the story. They are continuously. Oh wait, I just read that part. Yeah, I'm leaving some of this in so you can see some of the work that goes into making stuff for this channel. Well, even though I've released several bloopers reels, I'll try to link you all to all of those in the description as well. Nicholas says it's possible that people with even weak muscles in their legs can more easily control the robotic machinery that he and his collaborators are developing. He suspects that residual nerve fibers, though through the spinal injury, are able to carry sensations up to the brain, along with some rudimentary commands from the brain down to the muscles. Other researchers internationally are pursuing several different approaches on treating spinal injuries. Those include drugs to limit the damage caused by an injury, along with various approaches to cell transplantation. That last part, to me, sounds an awful lot like some of the older Superman mythology from the comics, where Krypton basically was cloning body parts to replace the dying or damaged ones, and causing some controversy among their own people, while extending their lifespans. And yeah, it's a whole complex subject. I might just link you to the article, to a web page that talks about it. Oh, and the drugs thing sounds an awful lot like this conspiracy theory that is proving kinda true. Where modern society is all, oh, you've got this health problem, this health problem, this health problem. Here, take this drug. It'll kill you or cause this side effect. And you'll have to take another drug which will cause more side effects, you then have to take more drugs for. But at least you won't have to deal with this problem anymore. Yeah, that's basically it. It seems like that's the modern solution for anything. Granted, something like that to instantly cure cancer, or with little to no side effects, that once the cancer's gone and you can't take, and you no longer need to take the drug, will go away on its own. Would be a good idea, especially if it was non-addicting. If anyone from a drug company, medicine company is watching this, is look into that. I know curing won't make you a lot of money, which is what you guys seem to be all about. But hey, it's a good idea. Moving on. As well as electrical stimulation and efforts to retrain the central nervous system. There are roughly 25 million people worldwide with severe spinal injuries. Nicholas acknowledges that his experiments have been expensive, but if the virtual reality training is indeed key to the improvements he has documented, that could be a basis of less expensive therapy. He believes, given the success he has seen with his first 8 volunteers, he says he's planning to expand his research to a new study group. Okay, that concludes that. In astronomy, scientists have discovered a new mysterious object in our own solar system, named Niku, or at least that's how I'm pronouncing it. It's spelled Nikau. Its composition is not what makes it strange. It seems to be a chunk of ice about 124 miles or 200 kilometers in diameter, placing it at the lower threshold of objects that might be considered dwarf planets, like Pluto is now considered. Even though when I was in elementary school, it was still a planet. Now it's a dwarf planet. There are plenty of objects its size and its composition out in the Kuiper Belt and beyond. No, the really weird thing about Niku is that it's far, far, far above the ecliptic, or the sort of plane for the solar system on which the planets lie, with Earth being considered at the 0-degree point on the ecliptic. So how far is Niku above it? 110 degrees. In other words, it's so far above it that it has entered a retrograde orbit. Yet the most inclined of the planets is Mercury at 7 degrees above the ecliptic. Dwarf planets Pluto and Eris are 17 degrees and 44 degrees above it, with many dwarf planets falling in that range. Many smaller solar system objects can be in inclined orbits, including asteroids and comets. But Niku is currently one of the largest objects in such an orbit. So how did it get there? That's what astronomers are trying to figure out. In a new scientist report, a number of possibilities are explored, but the object isn't far out enough to fall into the said enough family of objects that give a persuasive argument for a ninth planet out in the solar system. There are other smaller objects in a similar orbit, so something likely tugged them there. This is starting to sound a lot like the aliens theory. That our solar system has been visited in the past by all these aliens, and who we worshipped as gods, and they created us through gestation tubes and test tubes and all this crap. And we built all this stuff, and with their help, I've got all these cool old devices that suddenly disappeared. And kind of thing. But I have my own theory on what went down, and it ties into my faith, which those of you who've seen my Stargate Universe Theory video, I'll link in the description, and know all about it. But whatever it isn't making itself very apparent. The object detected by the and stars there's one survey instead remains an oddity and a mystery in search of an answer. For right now, they're just calling the influencer an unknown mechanism in a preprint released on ARXIV. I think that's supposed to be some kind of website or acronym. I don't know. The answer may require finding more and more objects just like it, if there's an easy to find answer at all. Well, that's it for that article. On to the next. Further tech developments are the possibilities of an Apple Watch 2, which people are theorizing will be the game-changing device we've been waiting for. Colored by the immense success of Apple experience with both the iPhone and the iPad, the Apple Watch launched in April of 2015 with tremendous fanfare and exceedingly high expectations. It would soon become apparent, however, that the first-gen version of the Apple Watch was not destined to become an immediate hit in the same way that the iPad burst onto the scene and broke any number of consumer electronics sales records. Even though first-year sales of the Apple Watch eclipsed first-year sales of both the iPod and the iPhone, the Apple Watch was released with far greater expectations, besides direct comparisons to the iPod and the iPhone, which aren't exactly fair. The iPod was released back in 2001 as a Mac-only device, while the iPhone was initially only available on AT&T. I actually remember some of this shit. Okay? I was about 8 years old at the time. And let me think. Oh, I was 10. I was 10 years old. I may cover my birthday in a later video. For those of you wondering how old I am now. Yeah. So keep an eye out for that. Before I move on with the article, well, let me just say, back when they first launched, I didn't even have an iPhone or an iPod. My music was a portable CD player. And for those of you who might not know what CDs are, considering everything's going digital nowadays, a CD is basically like a DVD or Blu-ray disc. Only instead of having visual on it, as well as the audio, you just get the audio. And CDs can usually be read by computers, There's DVD players, Blu-ray players, game consoles, that kind of stuff. Anyway, moving on with the article. So even though the Apple Watch still requires an iPhone to work, the pool of potential Apple Watch customers was far greater at launch than what the iPod and iPhone enjoyed. But perhaps the most telling sign that the Apple Watch hasn't been a standout hit is that Apple still refuses to release sales figures for the device. A rarity for a company that loves to boast about its impressive sales figures. That's another little annoyance I have. Like, oh, we've done this great thing. It's on the market. Look how much money we're earning from it. And that is why I'm not going to ever willingly state how much I'll make on YouTube. Of course, currently I'm holding at 2 subscribers. So, heck, my most popular video is a Harry Potter wand tutorial. Well, that I filmed with this a couple of years ago. Yeah, that's my most popular video. And I wasn't even monetized back then. And I'm probably going to drop the monetization subject. Because if I keep it up, I'll just sound like a greedy fucking bastard. Which I'm not. So is the Apple Watch toast? Perhaps nothing more than a fad anchored more by hype and wildly optimistic expectations than anything else? Not exactly. If we look back to the iPod, it took a few years for the device to truly catch on and become the phenomenon that it ultimately became. Again, at the time, I didn't have one. I couldn't even afford one. Still can't really afford one. And at the moment anyway. I mean, what are they running now? $20? $10? $15? I honestly don't know. And I can't be bothered to check right now in the middle of the video. Okay. I believe that the Apple Watch will go through the same trajectory. Looking ahead to the Apple Watch 2, there's a lot of evidence which suggests that Apple's next-gen wearable will become the game-changing device that many tech observers assumed the original Apple Watch would be. Again, I don't have an Apple Watch. I don't even have a watch. I used to. It used to be on that wrist right there. But I'm thinking companies cheap out when they make the wristbands for watches nowadays. Especially digital ones. Because that's what happened. The wristband and like a little pin section on that side of the watch from the way I'm sitting popped out or sheared off, one of the two, and I couldn't wear the watch anymore. And it's happened a couple times before. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're cheaping out when they make the wristbands. But now I'm wearing a bracelet my sister who dyed my hair made me. And then I made that bracelet myself. It's a chain. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen the necklace I wear. Down off screen, there's a little homemade Egyptian ankh or symbol for life that I put that is on there. But that's homemade as well. I bought the chain at a local hardware store, and then there's a little piece that attaches it, is the symbol to the chain. Anyway, moving on. For starters, Apple with Watch OS 3 is finally making the software that powers the Apple Watch usable. Watch OS 1 and 2 were serviceable and functional, I suppose, but let's be honest, performance could sometimes be painfully slow, and the UI itself was anything but intuitive. Sounds like a few problems there, Apple. Well, which is kind of funny considering I'm reading the article on one of your devices and filming myself reading it on an Android device. The signage in that alone. Anyway, with WatchOS 3, the Apple Watch will finally become the device many thought the original should have been. Software aside, the Apple Watch 2 will deliver significant advances across the board. Remember, Apple's next-gen Apple Watch will, at a minimum, launch about 18 months after the original will hit store shelves. That window gives Apple a huge opportunity to really take Apple Watch hardware to the next level. As a point of reference, just look at how the hardware progresses on the iPhone every 12 to 24 months. Again, that's the rapid expansion of technology. Hence why I'm covering this shit. Heck, I can give a bit of testimony on how fast technology has changed. Because I got my laptop, which is dead, in December 2010 for Christmas. And it worked fine for games like Star Trek Online, and a bit of RuneScape. I even was able to play a little bit of World of Warcraft, which, is that still a thing? Because, yeah, I played a little bit of the free version, but I was basically running around the Elven Forest for hours wondering what the fuck I'm supposed to do. And it wasn't my first time in an MMO. Oh, just first time playing that one. And it was so vastly different than the ones I'd played before that were so much like it that I didn't know what to do. Anyway, the laptop ran those games fine. Even ran some of the Facebook supported games fine. Checking the timestamp on the video. I'm up to 14 minutes. This is going to be one of the longer episodes. Because I've still got a channel update to film for this. As of this point in the video. Anyways, it ran those games fine even into recent years. As though I was, for some of the latest mission patches for Star Trek Online, getting a bit of lag. If you'd call ships flying, fighting, oh, come on! No! I'm gonna die! No! Oh, shields are down! Okay, stuff. But then again, those were the latest at that point, and you probably had, like, how many players are there in Star Trek Online? I mean, at most, every time I was playing, I'd see about 50 ships at Earth Space Dock. Maybe a few about that number in Klingon space. Ace for my Klingon character. God only knows what it was for the Romulans. And who knows how many other frickin' factions they've introduced now. Now that are playable. Well, the one thing I would like to see them implement, and for free-to-play players, because, again, I can't afford to pay for some of this shit, it is basically able to choose any kind of species you want, which you can kind of do with the alien character model. Heck, on one of my characters on an alternate account, I'll link you to my, well, actually, no, I'll just tell you my primary account's username, or, well, display name for, or, the messaging. Firestar28 is my primary account's little thingy. My secondary account, which I created by accident when I was re-downloading I was downloading STO onto my laptop. I accidentally created another account. And I didn't use that until I'm like, on my main account, I'm up to my max number of players. So, I have this extra account. I'm going to use it to try and play through some of the new beginning missions. Because when I started STO, the way they did the beginning mission, it was a full Borg battle on the ship that you start with, and fighting ships with that ship, and then in the planetary thing was way different. The planetary portion of that was way different. And the bridge crew officers or rewards you'd get for those missions and were vastly different. And first officer's a Andorian and female. Well, heck, in their bios, those for a good portion of my bridge officers, I have little backstories for them. I tend to do that a lot. Even though I don't overly RP in the game. Heck, only time I actually fully RP'd was I was in the section of the space that is considered a neutral zone where both players from Klingons and Federation could gather and fly around without shooting each other. Anyways, I remember being in that section of space and then seeing a Klingon ship. I'm like, isn't this supposed to be like neutral zone or Federation space? So I just role-playingly typed into the chat Klingon vessel. This is Captain Fett of the Federation starship Prometheus, which the name's based off of the Stargate ship, not the actual Star Trek ship class. It was a bit of an homage to that ship because it was destroyed. But spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen SG-1. And Prometheus gets destroyed. Humans built their own spaceships. Oops. No wonder this is taking so long. Well, I rant. Sorry. Anyway. The guy just like, lol. Because, he was like, oh, that's good. That is good. And I know some of you who will catch the captain's name for my primary account's Federation character. Or, primary Federation character. Or because I had the ability to start a second one. And either way, I'm pretty sure some of you caught that. His name is Fett. Full name Django Ardlin Fett. And that's homage to my stance on sci-fi series, which, if anyone remembers Switzerland and from during World War One and Two, how they were neutral for the whole thing, and yet selling supplies and stuff to both sides. And it's because they were neutral. Well, that's my stance when it comes to any sci-fi series that I've seen. And if I haven't seen the series, I reserve my judgment. Anyways, is the secondary account's primary character is a female alien who I've made a Cardassian who has mind powers. Yeah. Anyways, continuing on with what I was originally ranting about. That computer ran those games well. A little bit of stuttering or graphics issues with it as the game kept getting updated, which it continues to do nowadays, which is probably why it's still alive. Because, it's getting constantly updated and improved. Then, about a couple of years ago, or gonna be coming up a couple of years ago, as I said in my Origins of the Zoid class fighter video, I saw Aaron from Last Stand Gamers playing Space Engineers. Here's what I found, and as I was typing space something into the search bar on YouTube, and as I was typing it, I saw the list of autocomplete options, and I saw Space Engineers. I'm like, the fuck is that? Is that videos of NASA doing shit in space? Because that's engineering and stuff. Click. And that led me to Space Engineers. Here's which came out a couple years after I got my laptop. I honestly don't know if my laptop would have been able to run it at launch of the alpha. Public access through Steam alpha. But I do know that when we got back from Grandma's vacation, like I said, I got the game, and my computer just shit bricks when it came to it. And I'm not talking, the blocks for Space Engineers. I'm talking, as I said in the or at least I think I said in the Origins of the Zoid Classifier video, I opened Easy Start Redshift, Easy Start 1, or what was Easy Start 1 at that time, which had the red ship, blue ship, fighter, miner, all that crap. And before I could even move more than a few steps, it was like, step, crash. Crash to desktop. So, yeah. Obviously, my computer couldn't handle it. Fortunately, the computer I'm going to be using, as I showed in the video, or at least I think I showed it in that video, it could have been the coverage for the Mark II, which is now a scrapped design for the Zoid class fighter. I'll be getting a 1070 NVIDIA GTX graphics card for the new computer. It's within a year old. Granted, compared to, well, actually no. Computer technology, I think, has slowed down to once every 2 years. Here's you gotta update your shit. This could have been built this year. I'll look it up for next week's segment of this. Anyways, the new computer will have an NVIDIA GTX 1070. Well, hold on. You know what? I'm gonna wrap up this article, and then we'll look up that together before I switch to the next one. But not before I finish this. So the new one will have the chip graphic, GPU I just stated, or will finish stating at the end of this segment, and before we cut to the next one. And then I'll be using a hardline to basically run internet for it. Which Dad and I calculated out, it's about 30 feet from the jack at the back of the computer, main drive section, and where our internet is hooked up, which is Wi-Fi at the moment. So, and looking online, those run about a cord long enough to do that about $7-8, 10 at the most, and that's through Walmart, which means hopefully by the time I get a Walmart gift card for my birthday this year, I can just okay, go onto my Walmart app, doop doop doop, order it, use the gift card, and get the cord to run to the computer, and hopefully by then I'll have the card installed. If not, I'll look into doing a few Let's Plays of stuff like Pokemon and some Zoids Game Boy games, which there's only one Zoids Game Boy game that's on English release. Not even kidding. Anyways, continuing. Addressing the point, Abdel, I'm guessing that's a capital I, Ibrahim or whatever, Ibrahim, whatever. By the time Apple unveils the Apple Watch 2, it will probably be nearly 24 months since the original made its debut. Think about that for a second. What can Apple do in 24 months when it controls the whole stack? Answer: a lot. Look past how an iPhone looks and think about what happens in 24 months. Virtually everything changes. RAM, processor, screen technology, cameras, sensors, even materials. Compare an iPhone 5S to an iPhone success, and it's night and day difference in terms of performance and technology. This is the type of leap I'm expecting this fall with the watch. While we're on cameras, as in honest consideration, in place of that whole long ass list of tech developments in the past week, I think that I covered earlier, I actually considered a revolutionary camera thing that's coming out for your mobile devices, where the camera for this is right here. You strap the camera on over that location, and it gives you professional camera quality from wide angle, various other things. But when I pulled that article up to study it for today's broadcast, as I reached the bottom of the article, like, okay, I can cover this. Then I read that it's not an article trying to talk about the tech innovation itself, but an ad for the device. So I'm like, really? I'm not using an ad for this thing. As for specific hardware enhancements, some of the rumors we've seen suggest that Apple Watch 2 will come with GPS, improved waterproofing, a barometric sensor, faster internals, and improved battery life. There have even been rumblings that the Apple Watch 2 will come packed with a FaceTime camera. Some of those theories seem like, really? Do you really need that? I mean, back when I was even wearing a watch, even though the watch on the face said waterproof, because the wristband would tend to get all clingy to my skin, and I don't like that. It's like, ugh. I would generally not wear the watch while taking a shower. Or swimming. Even though it's water resistant. Granted, some of these features, there's that pure speculation at the moment, do seem like they'd be pretty cool. Well, anyways, coupled with watchOS 3, the inevitable rollout of even more watch band designs, the stage is set for the Apple Watch 2 to become less of a niche product and more of a mainstream device. Remember, the iPod went through a similar transformation back in the early 2000s and didn't truly become a mainstream device until 2 to 3 years after its initial release. The inclusion of GPS in particular will be incredibly important and as it will finally transform the Apple Watch into a legit fitness tracker. While the current Apple Watch does a decent job as a fitness tracking device, its lack of GPS makes it far from an ideal choice for runners and other athletes. Now, as to when we might see the Apple Watch 2 hit store shelves, rumor has it that the device will launch in late 2016. Ideally, Apple would, of course, like to launch the device in time for the busy holiday shopping season. As for our product unveiling, it remains to be seen if Apple will introduce the device at its upcoming media event in September, where the iPhone 7 is set to be unveiled. And that concludes that article. Now, how to do as I promised. Look up the card I'm planning to get. And so I can tell you guys. Okay. Here we go. Now, this is off of the Best Buy website. And I'm not going to ask you guys for donations, anything. And even though it would be kind of cool, well, if for my probably eventual job, even though I'm not going to go into the money talking thingy again, and to get at least something for it, because doing what Dan I can, which is little odd jobs, I'm planning to earn the money to get this. Okay, the official title for the device is the EVGA Founders Edition GeForce GTX 1070 8GB GDDR5 PCI Express 3.0 graphics card. And if it wouldn't be such a pain in the shebs, I'd throw pictures of the thing up with my voice over it. But current editor software that will allow me to do that, which is a secondary editor that I use for such things. It's the max number of photos I can put together for such a thing, and using that device or app, which reminds me. Okay, we got a little bit of battery left. I gotta run through this quickly. Oh, it's currently sold out online. And even though when I initially looked at it, it was available online. But total price not accounting for sales tax where I live, $449.99. Now, I did do some calculating with tax and the rates where I live, in the state I live. That comes out to about $480 something and 99. So yeah, I'm just rounding up the amount I need for this. 500. And if it's not available when I go to order, I'll get the standard edition. But yeah, that's what I plan to go with for the desktop. Now, 1 second. Oh wait, that was the last article. Okay. Now for the channel update. As you noticed earlier this week, because of that fire situation, and I was doing emergency broadcast covering that, and wasn't going to continue regular the semi-regular channel stuff until that situation was to where it wasn't such a big emergency that I had to cover for the channel. Well, as you saw earlier in this video, it's died down enough to where we're going to be resuming regular stuff. In the works right now is coverage for the Vulcan Raker. There's Nemesis Zoid, the Dreadblade. I've just got to write the battle story for that. Then I'm thinking about doing hand-drawn animations of Zoids battling it out, and then using YouTube's slideshow maker thingy to edit those all together into one video, and I'll do well. I don't have voice actors other than perhaps myself, but as you know, for a Zoid battle featuring at least 2 Zoids, I'd need 2 pilots. If I was going to have pilots' voices in this at all. Instead, I might just use audio options in the YouTube editing to overlay the battle with music. Maybe something epic. So that, it's fairly cool to watch. So that's 2 things in the works right now for the channel. As you heard, the computer is going to be getting to where I can do Let's Plays through it. But that's further down the road. I may do some more toy spotlights, like this, or maybe this guy. Heck, maybe even this. So keep an eye out for those. That's pretty much it. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. See you on the battlefield.